as the final countdown begins. Is a bright future a mere fantasy? Where uncover secrets cross an uncertain future, that point will bring us to the zone. The end of March brought us a set release day for Final Fantasy XV. Now on September 30th, we can finally expect the long-awaited game to hit consoles. Alongside that, they released a new gameplay piece, able to be played immediately, the Platinum Demo. A made-from-scratch demo taking the player through a dreamscape adventure with Noctis, and an incredibly adorable carbuncle that we see here. This Platinum Demo, no, not that Platinum, is a short adventure we get to enjoy, but is it Final Fantasy worthy? The first thing you see on this title screen is the explicit option to order Final Fantasy 15. And that's quite a direct line to throw right before even jumping into the action. Clearly this demo was made to try and push pre-orders for Square. Who could blame them? This is their hope at reviving people's interest in the franchise. Digital pre-orders are guaranteed sales, unlike physical ones which can be cancelled or forgotten. But it's a bit early to justify this right away. I played through the first demo, titled Episode du Skye, which was bundled with Final Fantasy Type 0 HD. I wasn't really happy with a lot of the mechanics. The lock-on was wonky, the battle system blocky, and the timing for parry and roll, it seemed hard to execute accurately. Before this demo, I hadn't played it since then, but I've heard they've added a few improvements a couple months ago. So in comparison to that one, well, what does this Platinum Demo offer that's different? Starting off, a much younger Noctis wakes up in a forest, and the cute little carbuncle is there to greet him. He hands Noctis a phone to communicate through, and guides Noctis through the majority of his demo. Carbuncle's messages have a cute charm, and sometimes he'll react to your actions through emoticons. Unlike Episode du Skye, which threw you into a large open area section of the game, the Platinum Demo is a lot more linear. You follow trails of yellow crystals and carbuncle as you try and make it to your safe place. That way you can wake up and resume your adventure. I enjoyed the little collectibles along the way, but wasn't really sure of their purpose. They seemed to power up these buttons on the ground that would alter environmental conditions or power-ups for you. Some of these include changing time from day to night cycles, or having the weather go from stormy rains to quiet calms. Some would even activate little set pieces, showing off some of the Eidolons. Or summons? GFs? Espers? Whatever they're called this time. The combat setup is also different from Episode du Skye. Instead of weapons varying based on your attack pattern, you switch weapons with the directional pad and just hold O to attack. Square is now your defensive stance instead of L1, but that part seems to have stayed mostly the same. Once you're through the forest, you pop up in a large living room, but shrunk down smaller than Carbuncle. I suddenly felt a strong Kingdom Hearts feel at this point. Not only this reminding me of the Alice in Wonderland stages, but with the cutesy weapons and the dark bug themed enemies, it seemed to be trying to grab some appeal from those fans, or still in wait for the next Kingdom Hearts game. This level allowed for a large bit of exploration. You could even transform into a vehicle and drive around. But unlike Episode du Skye, there wasn't really anything else to do. You can knock over some blocks and fight some more monsters, but overall your goal is to climb up some household objects to the table and move on to the next area. We're now brought to a cityscape, Noctis' hometown. It's pretty lackluster, mostly filled with stairs leading all around and platforms turning you into wild animals. This area seemed to be the most likely to what would actually be in the game though. You're also handed magic attacks to help, but in this game they're called fireworks. I assume it's to match the toy weapons you're given, sort of like things a kid would play with. But other than fancy spectacle, they aren't very useful. Up the stairs and through the hallway we're brought to a fountain area, but before we can finish this demo we have to take down a boss, a mighty iron giant. I won't lie, this guy rocked me at first. The demo doesn't really prepare you for a real combat situation like this, and switching between the weapons doesn't have as much oomph behind it as it did in Episode du Skye. Luckily Carbuncle helps to keep you from dying, and after it's knocked out, well, hop into your ride and that's pretty much it. This demo, it's pretty short. I barely spent over 20 minutes on it in my first playthrough. But I wanted to try it again. I went back. I was curious to see what else the demo had hiding in it, and sure enough a second run warranted a lot more entertainment. Trying to get as many crystals as I could, and pressing all the buttons, seeing their effects, and all the different cards you could turn into, and colors. They were just some of the tasks I set for myself, but little did I know I'd be doing even more. You can find special weapons and additional fireworks strewn about the levels. There are multiple beasts you can turn into. My second time against the Iron Giant went a lot better, but a third time didn't go quite so well. I even found a part in the fountain where I broke through the world and had to be respawned back at the start. It was fun. I did have fun with it. At the end of the demo, you even get to name your carbuncle. It'd be nice if that had some interactivity towards the real game when it comes out. But then it asks you again, would you like to purchase Final Fantasy 15? And I don't feel like this was a good way to sell it. This demo won't be in the real game, so if you do enjoy this combat and exploration, there's no promise it'll be similar in the final build. As an elaborate way to push pre-orders, I feel this Platinum demo comes up short. But instead of purchasing Final Fantasy 15, this demo made me go back and play Episode Disgaea again. And after its updates, it felt like a really fun and smooth game to play.
I souped her up a bunch for you. I should charge you, but I'm not gonna. This one's on the house.
Team attacks were added. I actually played through the whole thing and beat it this time. In a way, the Platinum demo made me interested in Final Fantasy 15, but as a whole, and with SquareEnix pushing a CG movie and an anime to tie along with it, you can really feel them stacking a lot of eggs in this basket. And why not? This game was announced nearly 10 years ago. An idea built and then rebuilt a long time, as Square's misappropriate use of the franchise had them concerned about what this game really needed to become. So can we place our faith that this time they'll get it right? Well, it's hard to say. I myself have been hurt before. Again. And again. And though Square wasn't responsible for all of them, it stands that AAA studios don't always know what its market really wants. And that's a hard thing for anyone to judge. I doubt at times we as fans know what we really want. But was this Platinum demo what we wanted? Does this make you want to keep your faith in Square and Final Fantasy? Well, that's up to you. I just hope that this fantasy isn't the last one.